Fan of Super Bowl props, but not in Las Vegas for the big game? Hosting a Super Bowl party and want to keep everyone entertained? WagerTalk has you covered with our Super Bowl party props sheet. The concept is simple and is easy for anyone to participate and follow. First, download and print out our Super Bowl 56 party prop sheet. Pass out to everyone at your Super Bowl party and determine the entry fee, if any, and payouts. All they have to do is circle their choices for each prop. And since almost all of them are 50-50, it does not require someone to be a huge football fan or understand sports betting to participate. To get your free Super Bowl party prop sheet, just go to wt.buzz/props and follow us on Twitter at WagerTalk the day of the big game to get results in real time.
Hey guys, welcome in and a very happy Wednesday to you. We've got some NBA news going on. We got some 6 games, in fact, tonight. We're going to break down a few of these games here, see if we can't point you in the right direction, and of course, get you caught up with the latest from the injury report and the trade deadline. And it appears we are waiting any minute now for a blockbuster deal. We'll talk about it when it happens, if it happens, and we'll do it with 3 of the finest here today on the NBA Tip-Off Show. As Steve Merrill in the house, we got Mr. Tony Finn back in action. Red hot Tony Finn. He's so hot, we put him in the middle square today instead of the bottom square. But Rob Vino here is hitting cleanup, and this way we know we can count on him, which is always good. Gentlemen, welcome in on this Wednesday. Merrill, what do you got? What you got rolling here tonight over at WagerTalk? I know there's math involved here, so Vino and I are ready. We got our number 2 pencils. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm always doing math, right? I was actually doing some math that you were talking there, Joe. But of course, listening intently to you because I always listen to Joe Raineri. But look, I'm trying to add up the favorites that have covered. This might be my last show, guys. Tony Finn and I have that island we've been trying to buy. And with Rob Vino's blessing, we're going to bet every NBA favorite again tonight. And we're going to retire after the show and after the games are finished because they went 9-1 against the spread last night after going 7-1 on Monday, 7-1 on Sunday, and I think like the 8 or 9-1 on Saturday. I mean, it's insane the run NBA favorites have been on. And some of it is a statistical quirk. But let's not forget that trade deadline, as you said, is looming tomorrow. We've got the All-Star break around the corner as well. So I do think we kind of have to, tread lightly, and we've been seeing blowouts left and right. With that said, I've isolated a strong NBA best bet for tonight, also a college hoops best bet. And I'm on a monster run, almost an 80% run this past half a week here in college hoops. Number 1 the last 2 years combined. So nice 2-for-1 special. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
All right, that wasn't too bad there, Vino. I think we can follow along. He didn't even offer up your plays, which is great. Those numbers, 27-2 straight up the last 4 days here, guys. 25-3-1 against the number, just under 90%. It is, where is it, Rob? Where's our alert? Do we have it? Give me that fucking chalk his ass is what we got going on here right now.
My dog.
Yeah, there it is. It is chalky his ass, Tony Finn. That's all we seem to get here is damn chalk. And it doesn't seem to bother you because you swept the damn board again last night. Congratulations. Yeah. Red hot, Tony Finn. What do you got in store for us tonight?
Favorites? I got favorites. I got chalk.
Island. That island.
No, I actually have I have a 5% tonight, but it's in the college ranks. I do have 2 NBA plays that I've packaged with it. But I think we talked a little bit about that. Those 2 plays have already it moved, and the numbers moved so much already on those 2 NBA plays that I released this morning that I had to basically put a little note by it. It said, listen, either stay, take penicillin before you play these, or reduce them down to 1%ers. That's your 2 choices. So there you go. But come get them. Come get them, right?
Let's go, dude. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Tony Finn. He's moving up in the world here on this show. And Rob Vino, we know a little something about those 1%ers. But in addition to the 9-1 straight up with the chalk, overs were 7-3 last night, and that too beginning to pop up a little trend before we get into the All-Star break. A lot less defense being played here, Rob Vino, across the board in the NBA. What do you got in store for us tonight?
Yeah, well, first off, let me just say that Steve did ask for my blessing to play all the favorites, so he did include me in his intro. Appreciate that, Steve. And I learned so many things on this show, Joe. Yesterday, I learned that ass is chalky. I never knew that, but I know it now. In the last 5 days, I'm learning that, if you play Tony Finn's theory, it doesn't matter the last 5 days if you take the ass end of a bad line because you cover anyway.
That's right.
Prior to the last 5 days, when there were injuries and stuff and lines would move out of control, the shorthanded team was covering like crazy. But the last 5 days, it's just flipped on its head. So many teams since Saturday, I think it is, shorthanded, getting blown out. Continued last night. We'll see if it continues here. Don't know if anybody is going to be traded by the time we get finished talking here or by the time the first tip comes, but you can get my NBA selection up and available right now. Everybody else above me is red hot. I might as well mention 16-4 in my last 20, NBA 6-0 last night. So it looks like the three of us are all in a pretty good spot.
That's a lot of money last night. And like Rob said,
I love getting a good line and then still getting it up the ass.
Absolutely, but you're cashing tickets, and that's all that matters.
Wow.
All right, let's go. Contrarian play of the day here. Listen, the contrarian play of the day, not doing so well, the contrarian gods, given the fact of all the chalky ass winning here over the last 4 days. But we'll see if that turns around tonight, as we're going to take a look at the San Antonio Spurs getting 5.5 now, it looks like. Tonight as they get ready to take on who? The Caris LeVert now led Cleveland Cavaliers. And this game was about 7.5, somewhere in that ballpark. So it does appear that the contrarian gods are having some influence here on the marketplace. They are certainly well rested, Steve Merrill. I don't think they played a game in feels like a month, but I think 5 days, maybe somewhere in that ballpark. What do you think of the contrarian gods looking at the Spurs tonight getting 5.5?
Yeah, when I was last on this show a couple times last week, in fact, on Friday, I believe, is when the Cavs, lost to the Rockets. Or actually, I'm sorry, it was last week, Friday's show, I was talking about them against the Hornets, right? And we talked about Cleveland as the contrarian then, and I mentioned that they'd lost to Houston in the previous game, and that I went against Houston with my best bet on the Spurs Friday. Now it's all coming back to me, Joe. It was a matrix of confusion there for a moment. But yeah, my point was that everybody was beating Cleveland. So if you told me, fast forward, 4 or 5 days later, we're going to have the Cavaliers laying 6 against anybody, I would have jumped against that. But I still think Cleveland's a little bit overrated. They had that red-hot spread start, one of the best point spread teams in the league the first couple months. They cooled off, and they went 1-6 ATS, but now they have covered their last 2 and won both of those. I'm not buying into it, though. I think San Antonio is still a bit of an underrated team. I had them as the best bet on the show Friday when they won that game by 25 against Roberts' Houston Rockets. And I think the long layoff will actually help them here. So I have no problem backing the Spurs in this one. And quickly on the favorites all covering 6 games, as we talked about here tonight. Only one of those 6 games have we seen the line go higher from the opener. One of them has stayed changed. One's gone up a half. The other 4 have actually come on money on the underdogs, including every game but this one. This one's kind of held pat. So we'll see if the lines have been overinflated due to those recent results.
All right, good stuff there. What do you think here? Tony Finn, you got any suggestions on that magic dust you sprinkling around here tonight? Willing to back the contrarian gods, will you?
Well, I'll say this, and that is somebody, jump in and correct me or tell me, is Garland going to be back? I'm hearing that Garland's back tonight. Is he back? He's still a game time decision, according to my intel, but without him, Cleveland's 105.6, 105.7 right in there as far as offensive rating goes. So, and that's, over the last 15 games, San Antonio's allowed 116.1 possessions. They've got a little better. That's in non-garbage time. But the problem with the Spurs, guys, have you seen their offense? Have you seen the number of offensive rebounds they're giving up, missed shots by opponents? That's been tough to overcome if you're backing them. However, Cleveland has to have Garland. Listen, tell me, Brandon Goodwin, Dean Wade, and Osman, that backcourt just is not producing enough points, even with a good defense, even with a good Cleveland defense that as long as their bigs are healthy and in the paint, they're pretty tough to score at the rim. So I'll be with you. I have nothing vested in this game. So last time I did this, I'll let you know. Last time I just jumped in and said, "Listen, I'm with you on the contrarian." They got crushed, by the way. Listen to that. Yeah. Yep.
Rob Vino. He's just sprinkling it all over the place, Rob. What do you got here tonight against San Antonio? Do you have anything against San Antonio, who I think is about to embark on in the rodeos in town, and this is usually that time of year where they don't go home for like 3 months or something. So what do you think here? This is game one on the road here for the Spurs.
And I always feel like teams that are going on extended road trips come out of the chute in game one fairly well. I'm not going to back that up with any kind of statistics. I'm just going to back that up with 30 years of doing this. So I think you get focus out of San Antonio here. They certainly are. The parts are so interchangeable on this team. And, they've got Zach Collins back after not having him for the entire year. I think he played his first game last game. So Zach Collins gives them a little bit more on the glass. As Tony mentioned, they have a problem rebounding. But in Cleveland's case, Darius Garland, as he mentioned, is a big factor. But the other big factor here is Caris LeVert, right? Caris LeVert into this lineup now, a guy who can produce points, a guy who J.B. Bickerstaff said he's the guy we have now that can create his own. And other than Garland. So with him, I think their point production can go up a little bit. They've got some injury issues, and they do like to be defensive-minded. I think, Joe, that if I had to, I would probably side with contrarian gods, thinking that Cleveland wins this game, but not by enough. But boy, it's nothing I would run to the window to. I'll point this out for guys who want to play totals tonight. San Antonio Spurs last 32 games, 24 of those 32, 75%, have gone over this number, 216.5. They find a way to get high-scoring games. Cleveland finds a way to get into low-scoring games. It'll be interesting to see what LeVert provides here.
Well, yeah, and Garland and LeVert in the backcourt is going to be very interesting, too, as soon as they can get on the same page. So things are looking up for Cleveland, just not tonight, as the Spurs, 5.5, are the contrarian gods play of the day. Now let's move on to a featured matchup, and there is none better on tonight's card than the Golden State Warriors taking on the Utah Jazz. You're not turning into that OKC game there, Tony Finn. The Golden State Warriors taking on Utah, and of course, this game opened up right around that 2.5 mark for Utah, 221 as a opening total as well. This will be 10 p.m. Eastern time tip. Start us off here, Tony, Finn, Golden State and Utah. How are you approaching this matchup?
Well, when I first I saw the line of this game just in brief when it came out, and I said I'm not even going to dig into this game. I really like the way Golden State's playing. They haven't been great covering margins, but they're 9-0, 9-game winning streak, only 4-5 against the number. And if I I'll take minus 150 on the money line against Utah without the big defensive player in the year in the paint for Utah. Defensively, they're just not very good. They haven't been very good, not metrically, not statistically. That said, they're resting. Golden State decides they're going to rest. There's no Draymond. There's no defensive guys. Really, the two key defensive guys for Golden State are not going to play. Plus, Clay is going to do some load management, right, tonight. So, but what you have is you have a kind of lineup that would surprise you. If you look at the numbers from this lineup, from this Golden State lineup, you're going to find that they produce. They're offensively, they're pretty good. Defensively, they're not so much. So, in this featured matchup, I'm still on the dog, Golden State. I like Curry, Poole, Wiggins, Porter, and Looney really is the key. Looney's questionable. Without Looney, they have no big. Golden State has absolutely nobody in the paint. So his health, the fact that he is actually going to be active, dressed, and playing would be key to me playing Golden State. But right now, give me the Golden State Warriors.
All right, leaning towards the Golden State Warriors here. No Rudy Gobert, we know that. Hassan Whiteside's usually in foul trouble. Everyone in Miami knows that. But man, oh man, how about it? The one-year wonder, former Kansas Jayhawk, Azubuike. Talk to me here, Rob Vino. The kid is a absolute beast right now for Utah, filling in. Is it enough though tonight to be able to handle Golden State?
Yeah, he played well last game, Joe. I mean, he really did on the defensive end. Credit to him. I think they held the Knicks to somewhere around 24% from three and 37% from the floor. Weren't good numbers posted by the Knicks. But as Tony mentioned, that's more of a mirage with Utah defensively without Gobert. Said it the other day that, Rudy Gobert, to me, even though, Donovan Mitchell, in my eyes, is like my favorite player in the NBA. And as soon as he came back, you see what happens to this offense. But the most important guy certainly is Gobert. If they want to get to where they want to go, Rudy Gobert is a key. And, having the Golden State side with all of their exceptional, I'll say that because they have additional, but their exceptional wing length on defense sitting on the bench. Tony pointed them all out. I would have said the same thing. No Draymond, no Iguodala, no Klay Thompson, all these guys who clog up passing lanes. It makes it a little easier for Utah to score here in this game. I think, my analysis comes down to just about exactly what Tony said, except I like the other way. I think Utah can outscore this team in a game that I see being open floor. I know Ingles in the long run probably will hurt his absence going for the year, but in the short term, one game situation, they have plenty of 3-point shooters. So give me Utah. Bogdanovich is even playing well with that broken finger, shooting it fairly well. So I'll try Utah here. Again, I like a lot of what Tony said. I just like the other side.
Terrible. Ingles blows out his knee, and then he gets traded to Portland, the poor bastard. Oh, terrible. Talk to me here, Steve Merrill. What do you think here? Golden State, Klay Thompson, it's only 12 games. But it had been 2 years, and I feel like he's starting to get that stroke back here tonight. What do you think of Golden State's chances?
Well, I mean, they've won 9 straight, right? And they're getting a couple points now. So obviously their chances are pretty good here, but I'm not sure the spot's that good. And it's also a revenge spot for Utah after losing at Golden State just a couple weeks ago on January 23rd. So you've got a strong home court altitude with revenge. This is an angle I've used for 20-plus years with the Jazz. I'm not going to necessarily get involved tonight, though. But I do think the setup probably favors Utah. But I'm going to look more at the over. I think Rob was kind of hitting at that. We've seen the total go from 221 up to 224.5, even 225 at some of the sharp offshores. I agree with that move. I think this will be a back-and-forth game. And as long as Gobert is not in the middle for Utah, they're a much weaker defensive team, and they have to play small ball and play faster. So instead of trying to guess the side, I think it's a good setup for Utah, but I'm not going to fade a 9-0 team getting points. Let's look at the over 224.5 in this one.
All right, likes the total in this one. Can't argue with that at all. Should be a hell of a game here tonight. Utah taking on Golden State, a battle of Western powers. All right, time to go to our overtime segment. We'll focus on the total in this one. And boy, oh boy, this one, it didn't take long for this one to get steamed all the way up. How about the Charlotte Hornets taking on the Chicago Bulls here? And we saw it open up around that 230 and a half, and then as high as 237 today. So all the money coming in towards the over in this one, Rob Vino. But has it been steamed up too far, or could you only look at the over in this one?
Yeah, I don't know, Joe. I think it's probably too far at this point. Charlotte has not been playing good offensive basketball whatsoever. They're in a rut at this point in time. And of course, Gordon Hayward now hurt. So that furthers or lessens their ability on offense here. I know they're going to have some pace. And I know that Chicago's done nothing but play high-scoring games. Chicago's got some injuries as well. I mean, Ayu Dosunmu has stepped in and played extremely well for the Bulls, but he's out with a concussion tonight. They've got their big three, right? Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic. Those guys are there. They don't play a lot of defense. Boy, I just don't know if it can get this high, Joe. I see a high-scoring game, but all the way to 237. Again, we say it time and time again, every single thing has to go right for a game to get to 240. And I'm just not sure that everything's going to go right here. Pace, Chicago, lack of defense, all those things thrown in there. I still don't know that 237 is a good number to be betting over at this point in time. I think if you liked it, you missed it. And we'll see where it goes from there. And I also, real quick here, let me just say thank you for stepping in with the Joe. 2 hours ago, I didn't even see that Joe Ingles had been traded to Portland. But what's interesting, when I just reviewed the trade, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, that dude has to keep his suitcase going. He's from New Orleans to Portland to Utah. He's all over the place within 3 days. So certainly a lot of travel miles for him.
Yeah, it would have been great if he just stayed in that part of the country. He'd have been fine. He's right around that area anyway. What do you think here, Steve Merrill? I mean, Rob's got a point here. We're talking about a Hornets team that's averaging less than 100 points a game here in the last three. They've had issues in the locker room. We've got, Boog Knight going after the coach, Lonzo Ball, all sorts of issues on both sides for these two teams. Do you trust it to hit 240?
Yeah, I'm not a trend guy, but anybody who's a trend player is going to be very, very confused by this game because Oklahoma City's gone under 5 straight. What has Toronto done? I'm sorry, look at the wrong. Oklahoma. I'm sorry, Charlotte. I always call it the Hornets.
I knew
the
what
Thunder,
you meant.
They're all confused. Yeah, I'm looking. That's called foreshadowing to my possible best bet for the show. So stay tuned. I just gave it away, but no, Charlotte's gone under 5 straight. You look at Chicago's gone over 7 straight, and then even more big picture, Charlotte's gone under 12 of the last 16. The Bulls have gone over 13 out of 16 with one push. So I mean, these are two teams that have been exact opposite of the spectrum. So in that regard, you could say, yeah, this is a really big total for Charlotte, but maybe not for Chicago. Let's look at some math. If you look at how much these teams outscore their opponents on average, it's about 5.5 and 10. So that's about 15.5 points above average for the two combined. That would get you to around the 232, 233 range. And lo and behold, this total opened 230, and now it's 236.5, 237. So I do think this is a situation. It goes over the opener, stays under the current total. And of course, anybody watching the show now gets that current total. So I do think 237 has gotten a little pricey. Hard for me to say it's not going to be a fast-paced game, but like Rob said, it could be a fast-paced game and a lot can go right and still not get over 237. So I think it's going to be a middle. It's a Merrill middle in this one. If you're playing the closing line, you probably look under at this point.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we know, I think they're on, a 6-0, 7-0 overrun now, these Bulls here, Tony Finn. It is also, I think they're, third? It's their third and 4 or 5. It's been a hell of a schedule here. So we haven't seen any defense. So I'm not sure, third game in 4 nights, we're going to get a lot of it tonight either. So how do you approach it?
Well, that's a good question. We talked about this game a little bit off air before we went on air, and that was that I actually released this game early this morning. I stayed up all night with working, and about 4 or 5 this morning, I went ahead and released this, and I played the over. There's several reasons why I played the over in this game, and to everything that Steve has just described, and Rob too, all those things are absolutely correct. They're spot on. It's from the school of thought. What school of thought are you from? Chicago is playing, Joe. They're playing the third game in 4 nights, just like you said. Third game in 4 nights, 7-0 to the over, just that you said. So when you're playing your third game in 4 nights, I know guys that blindly will play overs on back-to-back teams that are on back-to-backs, despite the fact that I tell them all the time, well, the statistics or the metrics don't support playing the over on back-to-backs. They just don't. I mean, it makes sense. They're going to be tired. They'd rather play offense than defense. In this game, Chicago has forgotten. I mean, since their injuries, they've just forgotten how to play defense. Let's just be honest, guys. So if you believe they can still score, I mean, Charlotte, listen, as Steve said, Charlotte's 97.7 per 100 possessions in non-garbage time over, I think, their last 5 games, shooting about 27% from distance. It's hard to support a 237 with those kind of metrics, right? Again, I released the over 231. So now what do? I think I'm going back in and telling my clients, the ones that got this and got it, the over, let's come back and play the under That's a pretty good sized middle and a pretty good spot, I think. And try to middle this, and worst case we get juice. So, I like the over in this game with these guys though. 237 is a pretty big number.
Rob Vino, I don't know if you have it open. What is the first half total in this this monster? Is it 118? Like where are we at here with the Bulls and Hornets? It's probably it's got to be a mountain of points.
I'm looking at 116 and a half.
Yeah, and that was
117 sets. 117 in a couple places. Yeah.
Wow.
So the second half is
right.
about 2 baskets higher.
About 2 baskets higher.
Bet up
right,
from
Steve?
114 and a half.
Yeah, second half is about 2 baskets higher.
Wow. All right. Defense not expected in the marketplace tonight in that game in either half. So we'll see exactly how it goes tonight. Chicago and Charlotte. Now it's time to pay attention to the dogs, Robert. Let it go, man.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right. Well, they've been quiet as a damn church mouse, these dogs, over the last 4 days. They ain't barking. They're whimpering, damn it. But tonight, we got the Spurs. We got the Hornets. We do have the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Sacramento Kings, Portland Trailblazers still in the league, and the Golden State Warriors as a dog. So, Merrill, start us off here. The dogs, not making a lot of noise lately, but which one of them would you make your own tonight?
Yeah, by the way, as we speak, as we're doing this show live at 4:45 Eastern on Wednesday, the WagerTalk live odds screen is lighting up. Money coming in on Cleveland. They're now -6 across the board. So the line move is fading the contrarian gods. It was 5.5 when we were talking about that about 20 minutes ago. I still like San Antonio as my dog, though. This is more of a fade. Now, there is some trade involvement between the Jazz and the Spurs. Maybe other stuff is going on here, shorthanded lineups and whatnot. But Spurs are a well-rested team. They've been off since last Friday when they manhandled the Rockets. And I'm still just not a believer in Cleveland right now. Yes, they've won back. Keep in mind, they went 1-6 ATS previous 7 until these back-to-back wins. They shot 40 and 40.5% of those 2 wins. So they're still ice cold offensively. I'm not going to lay 6 points with an offense that's struggling like that. I think the Spurs can keep this one close, but definitely dig into this near tip time because we're seeing some movement on this as I speak. Spurs now +6 across the board.
All right. Love it. And pretty much the Spurs had last Friday off too. All right. Let's move on here now. Talk to us, Tony Finn. Let's see what kind of sprinkle dust you got rolling for us here, man. Where's your dog tonight? Who are you looking at?
Well, I'll make this really easy. I'll go ahead and go with Golden State. We talked a little bit about them, but I think when you get a team that's 9-0, I get a team that is improved. They've come out of that pseudo slump that everyone is complaining about. Curry shooting under 30% from the field, from distance, yada yada yada. I dug in on this game a little bit, and while we don't have a big sample size, and as long as Kevin Looney is active, then listen, Draymond Green, as we explained, all those guys out defensively, I do like the over in this. However, the lineup that Golden State is putting out there is about +28 as far as the net rating goes. And again, small sample size. And for Utah, they haven't played much defense, as Rob said, without Gobert, even with Azubuike. Listen, Azubuike is a beast, and he can defend the rim. But he can't shoot. Guys, don't plan on getting much scoring out of Azubuike. Have you seen him shoot a free throw? Because if he hits the rim, they should consider that good. They should consider it a made free throw if Azubuike hits the rim. So you're not going to get much scoring out of there. That limits a little bit. Not that you got a bunch out of Gobert, but you got some other things from Gobert that you wouldn't get from Azubuike as well. So give me Golden State plus the points. I think it's a coin flip, and I'll take that plus points with Golden State.
All right, he's taking the points plus Golden State. Sprinkle it, people. All right, Rob Vino, where are you going here on the board? It's been a while since I heard you utter the words Oklahoma City Thunder, but where are you thinking about?
Yeah. Joe, this is the worst lineup of underdogs, and considering the run, the train that we have to step in front of.
Wow.
As, in regards to the way the favorites are covering, is tough. I'm going to say this really relies on injury report later, but I'll try the home team in the second of back-to-back, Sacramento +8. Last night, the T-Wolves lined up with 4 guys questionable all night long until tip, and then all 4 went, and they win by 20. I think, I used Minnesota as the best bet on the show here yesterday. I thought that they saw an opportunity in the first game. Perhaps Sabonis would be involved in the second game for Sacramento, and that might be a little more difficult. So they'll go after the first one. They did. They come back tonight. They just don't have 4 questionables. Now they got 6. Now they throw Anthony Edwards into the mix. We're looking at, as I read it down, Beverly Edwards, Okogie, Prince, Reed, D'Angelo Russell. None of them played heavy minutes, so there's no real reason except that maybe there's some partial injuries that you don't want to send them out there back-to-backs. It's De'Aaron Fox's second game back. I'll give him a little bit of leeway for last night being his first. Sacramento's just not a good basketball team. However, if Minnesota rests these guys, Joe, you want to be on 8 now because it won't be 8 later. So I'm going to try Sacramento. A little bit of guesswork here that Minnesota will be resting some guys tonight.
Rob, I just want to point out, too, I think Rashawn Holmes sat last night for Sacramento, the big man, and he's a pretty big part of that offense for Sacramento. So, hell, why not? Let's go. Sacramento it is. The dogs are barking again tonight, hopefully.
Wow. Isn't that Chris Finch's death squad?
Let's go to best bets. Here we go. All right, come on, let's do this now. Damn it. All right, so we've got only 6 games in the NBA, so not a ton to choose from, but I'm sure there's one of these games that Steve Merrill is leaning towards a little more than the others. So, Merrill, we'll throw 60 seconds on the clock, promote away, and give us your best bet, man. What's going on tonight?
6 games on the board for Wednesday Night Pro Basketball. One of them is a strong 4% best bet for my personal clients at WagerTalk.com. I'm going to look at another game that just missed the cut here as a free play. Don't forget, though, college hoops red hot as well. It's 86% college basketball best bet run since this past weekend. I've got also a college basketball best bet. So a big 2-for-1 special tonight on Wednesday for Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, and college and pro hoops combined. Game that was just a bit outside is the Oklahoma City Thunder plus 10. One of the best point spread teams in the association all year long, despite being probably the worst team offensively in the association. And I think this is a good spot to play against Toronto. These favorites have been covering a lot the last few days. They've been blowing teams out, but I see no reason for Toronto to blow them out tonight. They got to go to Houston tomorrow, the game on deck. Oklahoma City Thunder continue to cover as big dogs on the season. They're now 34-18 against the spread. And the last time Toronto's laid this many points, they laid 8 a few weeks ago. They lost outright in that game. I look for a flat spot for the Raptors. Oklahoma City Thunder plus 10 on Wednesday night.
All right. Taking the 10. I knew somebody was going OKC here. All right. Tony Finn remaining red hot here, sweeping the board last night between you and Vino. Not a loser among you. Let's keep it rolling here. Talk to us. 60 seconds. Where are you going there, Finn?
To be completely transparent, remember, and I put it plenty of time. 60 seconds, plenty of time. I did have 2 prop losers, 1% prop losers, so I don't want people writing into the show and complaining. Finn had a loser. So let's go to Chicago. I'm going to take, listen, in a game where Charlotte has been offensively miserable, and I gave you the numbers, their metrics and their net rating, 97.7 per 100. That's miserable because Charlotte lives and dies off making threes, scoring points. Give me the Chicago Bulls, who, listen, haven't been great on an 0-5 straight-up slide, 2-7 against a number. This is a team that doesn't have to play defense against Charlotte. They can score with Charlotte, even with the injuries they have. Give me Chicago, minus a short number here, as my best bet of the day, right here on the Tip-Off Show. I love getting a good line and then still getting it up the ass.
All right, there you got it. You heard it. Here we go. Talk to us, Rob Vino. 60 seconds. All roads. Well, they end Tony Finn's ass. So where you going here, Vino? 60 seconds.
How I wish Ski was here, Joe. Oh, man. Somebody's got to talk about the Lakers. It's going to be me. We've seen a downward movement in this game from 9 down to 7.5, just based off of the fact that LeBron is now questionable. If LeBron sits this game out, shame on him. This is a team sitting right now in the 9th position in the West. This is a more than winnable game. Get out there and win the game. who is even on Portland anymore? These 5 guys don't even know each other. Ben McLemore into the starting lineup last night. Ellaby, Winslow, Nurkic, Simons, and then they're making more trades today. They get Alexander Walker in, they ship him out. Portland's just a complete mess at this point in time. If Anthony Davis doesn't go crazy here, if LeBron James doesn't play, I'd be very disappointed. But I think LA's got way too much in this game, defensively and offensively, for Portland, who is really nothing more than a grassroots effort at this point in time. So give me the Lakers minus the 7.5 now that it's gone down that low.
All right. Can't believe it. Somebody had to. We'll get Ski a copy of this so he can check it out. One more time, a quick recap here, guys. We are looking at, while the dog is barking, it is the San Antonio Spurs, and I believe that line movement right here on the show. News of Garland actually going tonight looks to be circulating, so maybe that pushed the Cavs there to -6. Any which way you cut it, Merrill says give them the Spurs +6. Our best bet here, the Thunder, double digits back in OKC against Toronto. Tony Finn likes the Warriors. You win 9 in a row, and you're getting points. He's taking them. He also likes the Bulls to get it done against Charlotte here, laying 1.5. While Rob Vino, 2 teams on Ski Profits, hell no list. He backing them both. He going with the Kings +8 and the newly acquired Lakers laying the 7.5. And our contrarian play of the day on the same page with Steve Merrill here, the Spurs +6 in that battle. And you heard these guys tell you, best bets are locked and loaded at WagerTalk.com. Head over to Steve Merrill's page, grab his place right now, as well as Tony Finn and Rob Vino as they look to keep those tickets cashing here. It's been a hell of a run for all 3 of these guys. No reason not to make it a profitable evening, whether it be college or the NBA tonight, guys. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Scoop up those best bets. And let's cash a few tickets here tonight. And on behalf of Steve Merrill and Tony Finn, we want to thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. Don't forget, if you hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner, you'll get notified when we go live. We'll be back again tomorrow doing it all over again. And until then, Tony Finn says, good luck, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, man. Good luck. Boom.
Celebrate with Teddy Covers as he hits the 50,000 plateau on Twitter. Right now, you can get a 7-day all-access pass for only $50 using coupon code TC50 when checking out on Teddy's 7-day pass. That's 7 days for less than a 3-day package and $49 savings from regular 7-day all-access price, coming to just $7.14 per day. To redeem this special, go to Teddy's homepage at either WagerTalk or Sports Memo and use coupon code TC50 when checking out for his 7-day all-access pass.